Hong Kong is proud to be the home of many world-class engineering wonders, the astounding accomplishments of its hard-working construction industry. But during construction, consultants or their resident site staff often are in conflict with the contractors. How can this be avoided? A new form of contract, the new engineering contract NEC, has now landed in Hong Kong. NEC can effectively transform disputes into cooperation and opposition into collaboration, thus allowing the contracts to be completed in a most cost-effective manner. NEC emphasizes mutual trust and collaboration, thus allowing the employer, the site supervisory staff and the contractors working closely together towards a common goal. The GCC form of construction contract that Hong Kong has adopted was modelled on the UK conditions of contract. This traditional form of contract does not place much emphasis on a partnering relationship between contracting parties in the course of the contract. As a result, disputes often arise in the interpretation of the terms of contract.
We hope to use a partnering approach in construction contracts so that participants can now work as a team instead of taking an adversarial approach in the conventional contract. The NEC project has been substantially completed with very encouraging results. So I think it is time for the Development Bureau of the Hong Kong government to have a wider trial on NEC form of contract, not only for construction contracts but also for consultancy agreements.
In managing traditional contracts, disputes can easily arise between the employers, consultants and contractors.
The on-site management personnel from the client or the consultant are comparatively passive. They may strictly follow the procedures and the specifications.
Normally, quotations presented to us are exaggerated, and we take pains to check the credibility of the data.
喺傳統合約裏面咧，好多人就覺得顧問公司同承建商咧就好似兵捉賊咁。
So is there any way to resolve disputes arising from traditional contracts?
There was very little interaction between people working for the client and people working for contractors and subcontractors. There was no collaborative decision-making.
Dr. Martin Barnes has always been keen on the study of project management. In the mid-1980s, he accepted the engagement of the Institution of Civil Engineers to study a new form of contract with an aim to resolving problems arising from traditional contracts.
It was a revolutionary idea at the time that you'd write a contract in simple English, but why would you do anything else? Why would you write a contract in a language which you knew most of the users would not fully understand?
The first article of NEC stipulates the need for mutual trust and cooperation between the contracting parties. Not only is this unprecedented, it also signifies the uniqueness of NEC. Moreover, under NEC, there is a fairer risk-sharing mechanism for allocating risks, such as risks in handling unforeseen ground conditions and inclement weather between the contracting parties. Such would help to minimize contractual disputes. The first edition of NEC Conditions of Contract was officially published in 1993. In 1994, Sir Michael Latham, a senior member of Parliament in the United Kingdom, released an influential report entitled Constructing the Team, which is more commonly known as the Latham Report, and in which he highlighted the importance of partnering.
There was no partnering in Britain in 1993, 1994, and they were adversarial conditions. The more I think about that, the more I'm happy that the new engineering contract has been introduced. That's what I hope to support.
Crossrail, a London railway project, is one of the largest civil engineering projects in Europe, with a total investment of £15 billion. The project is to construct a new railway line through central London and connecting it to the existing East-West railway system. Crossrail is scheduled for commissioning in 2018.
NEC Contracts was chosen by Crossrail, essentially because Crossrail looked at many of the successful programmes that have been run by the UK government over the years. To be successful, NEC got to be used by everybody.
NEC contracts are gradually being more commonly adopted in the industry, including the construction of sports venues for the London Olympic Games.
The construction of the Olympic facilities in many cities over the last 30 years have often finished up over budget and rather late. We were here in the UK determined that that wouldn't happen, and there's no question that the NEC contract have ensured we met those targets that were set by government.
In Hong Kong, the government has always strived to enhance cost effectiveness and to minimize disputes when delivering public works projects. The government has hence decided to use the contract for the improvement of the 180-metre-long Fook Man Road Nulla in Sai Kung as the first pilot contract for trying out NEC. This pilot contract is implemented by the Drainage Services Department, DSD. The Development Bureau set up a high-level steering committee for this project, while DSD set up a working group to prepare for the first NEC pilot contract. To help the construction industry to gain a better understanding of the implementation of this new NEC contract, DSD had unprecedentedly invited prospective tenderers to attend a briefing and to take part in a mock tendering exercise. The ICAC was also invited to give advice throughout the implementation process, from a probity and anti-corruption viewpoint.
To minimize the corruption risks arising from the use of NEC, in the early implementation stage, the Corruption Prevention Department conducted a detailed study for the Drainage Services Department on the procedures of its NEC pilot project and made a host of practical and effective recommendations to further improve the system.
DSD's Fook Man Road Nulla project in Sai Kung was eventually awarded to Chun Wo, and Black & Veatch is the project consultant. Construction started in August 2009. This contract adopted the NEC Engineering and Construction Contract, ECC Option C, target contract. Under such contract form, contract payment is based on actual costs. The contractor would hence need to submit those invoices and account relating to this contract to the employer for checking. This is known as open book account. In addition, the terms of contract also stipulate the mechanism for sharing any savings or additional costs, which exceed the target. This is known as the pain-gain share mechanism. If the actual costs of the contract are less than the target, the contracting parties can equally share the savings. On the other hand, if the actual costs go over the target, the contracting parties will also have to jointly bear the part of the actual costs, which is above the target. Under the DSD's first NEC pilot contract, it has been stipulated that the amount of actual costs above the target, which government would share, on a 50-50 basis, is capped at a value equal to 10% of the target. Such mechanism motivates the two contracting parties to cooperate and to jointly manage the construction risks more vigilantly, so as to reduce costs. At the beginning of the contract, the joint DSD consultant-contractor project team set common goals, including to complete the contract 6 months ahead of program and with 5% savings.
今次渠務業承建商啦、顧問公司啦，佢哋好努力加強咧同我哋地區人士去溝通，亦都好定時將個工程咧向當區嘅區議員咧係匯報嗰個最新嘅進展。溝通多咗，呢個問題梗係少咗啦，所以我覺得呢個係非常之欣賞嘅新嘅思維。
The use of NEC form of contract has substantially raised the quality and efficiency of work under the Fook Man Road Nulla project. Construction is expected to be completed 6 months ahead out of an approved contract period of 39 months. And the actual costs of works are expected to be about 5% below the final target. Furthermore, as most of the compensation events have been settled during the construction stage, it is expected that the final account can be finalized within half a year after substantial completion of works. In fact, more and more NEC projects are now being implemented. We believe the construction industry will become more familiar with the benefits brought about by NEC.
NEC brings about quality project management, resulting in less contractual disputes. We have seen these benefits in our pilot NEC project. We are keen to see the wider development of NEC in Hong Kong and are preparing for more NEC projects in the near future.